You're now listening to Anonymidst.
Yo, hey family, how y'all doing? Not gonna hold you. I'm definitely got the sniffles because I wore it like this, trying to be cute. I wore this like open top with my chest out. It decided to be cold and I was just like, I'm sick. And I definitely did not go to class today, but don't do that, y'all. Go to class. I just know he ain't talking about nothing today, and we don't have a quiz this week, so what we do is tomorrow, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, I'm talking to you about solitude and isolation. You know, COVID had everybody thinking that isolation was bad, and isolation had you going through it. And it does if you've been running from yourself for a long period of time. I think if you haven't sat down with yourself since you was in kindergarten and now you start to think about life, of course isolation is going to be bad for you. Isolation is not for the weak. Isolation shows you who you are. It shows you your past. It shows you who you can be, though. Once you work through all of that shadowness, the past, I call it the shadow. Once you work through all of that, it's a place where you get to decide, do you want to continue these cycles or do you want to express that you want to be better? Again, I'm not saying that this is the way you have to go, but this is how I've done it. So it starts off with your past, and then you start looking at your future, what it is that you want to do, setting out your plans, etc. And notice I have not talked about the present yet. The way isolation works is no one is there but you. So your ego, the person that people think you are, is being shunned. And some people live with their ego. Some people live off of their ego. But isolation changes you and makes you more you. Like, I noticed that I've never been technically like, I don't want to say a people person, but I've never been the girl that wants to go to all the parties. Like, that's just not my scene. It's too much going on. I like to be at kickbacks, like at the crib, drinking a little juice, something like that. But yeah. And I think that once I was isolated, I never really looked at party. I never went back to a party after that. Because it's just like I'm seeing ego. Because once you know better, it's like you can see through a lot of stuff. Like, you seeing how a person is when they're alone and then how a person is outside of their house. And that could be two different people. And it's just like crazy how, or psychologists would say, interesting how, or appalling how these people could change so quickly. I think it's been very intriguing that I've noticed this for a long time, but I didn't know what that was, right? So, isolation and being in solitude helps you shape the future you. Helps you look at the future version of yourself and compare it. Am I doing the things that the highest, the best version of myself wants me to do? Like, I want I want the best version of myself to be grateful that I was strong enough to endure the hardship. I want my highest version of myself to be grateful that I have instilled affirmations to remind myself that that's where I'm going. I want her, him, she, them, whoever, to be able to say, I am the shit, okay? On a large platform. Being able to be like, this was not what I thought it was gonna be, but it was worth it because of the growth. And just, oh my gosh, you can see all my teeth right now. I'm smiling so hard. Because it's just like, once you get there, it's going to be something else. It's going to be something new. But when you look back and you're just like, dawg, look where I've been. Like, I've been in the valleys, on the mountains, in the water, finna drown, swimming on surfboards. I've been everywhere. You know, like, that's what isolation does when you are optimistic. But when you're pessimistic, you can't see your way out of darkness. You can't see your way out of your past because you lack the forgiveness thing. You have to learn to forgive yourself and not feel ashamed of where you've been and where you come from. You can't forget where you come from because that is what shaped you. Anything that triggers you is because you haven't looked back on this part of or this area in your life. Not to say that triggers are always going to make you think of one area in your life, but when you feel triggered to get angry, to get frustrated, to get irritated, that is an opportunity for you to check yourself and align back with your principles. What did you say you was going to do when you felt this way? What did you say you were going to do when she was running her mouth like she wanted to get popped? What did you say you was going to do? Act it out. And baby, your car is not that fast. You better slow down. Yeah, I'm just looking at the window being nosy like an old person. But gratitude and gratefulness takes you a long way. Like, I hear people say, I woke up today, and for a long time, I didn't think that was a blessing until I was out wilding. I'm talking about wilding. And it was like, bro, I need to go home. How did I get home? Like, I don't understand how I got home, but I'm home. Gratitude. Because I can't explain to you how that happened. Seeing accidents. Wow. I made it to my destination and I came back home with no scratches, no bruises, nothing. Wow. I can breathe in. I can walk. Seeing people who have Down syndrome, who have some type of disability, what society has labeled as a disability, and I'm considered normal. Wow. And That's not to cripple them. That's not to say that they are not intelligent. In fact, I think factually most CEOs of Fortune 500 companies are autistic. Autistic meaning they are very isolated to themselves. In fact, I have a cousin who is autistic, extremely smart, but they think about things very differently. Shapes and objects look very different. Very concentrated, hyper-focused on one thing at a time. For some, I never want to box anyone into one thing, but I'm speaking on something that touches back with the role of isolation, hyper-focus, the ability to readjust your mind with your principles, your values, who you stand to be. I dare you and I challenge you to be that. I dare you to take at least 2 to 3 months saying affirmations daily, writing in your journal, exercising, and dedicating your time to your values and your principles. Write out your negative traits. Write out your positive traits. Write out the things you love about yourself. Write out the things you don't desire to change, but you know, like, this could rub people the wrong way. Write it out. See how you would feel on paper. See how you would look on paper. Isolation is not going to harm you. It's just going to allow light to come in. But sometimes you can't see the light unless you're in darkness. Like if you're in a dark room, it's easy to see a light. But if you're in a dark room and you close your eyes and the light is on, open your eyes. The light is on. But anyway, I'll be happy to give y'all metaphors. I think the next series I'm going to do is how I swear I could be a comedian. Like, I really could. Like, the way I laugh at certain things or I make jokes out of certain stuff that should not be funny, that is, like, how I deal with most of my pain. I make a joke and I literally just laugh to keep from crying. Like, that's why the most, like, the people that's, like, the realest ones, like, they gotta isolate and get their jokes back up. And then come out. Then they gone. Then they come back. It's rare, but it's... Hey, I'm telling you, it's a thing for real. But all right, family. Thank you for listening to the podcast Anonymidst. Not in the middle. And stand on principle. Talk to you later.